well, I've been running around doing stuff because I apparently want to take absolutely the longest possible time to recover as humanly possible, right?
Right.
So we've gone to the movies several times in the last week or so since I got sick, and
Because
I have
nothing
to.
makes you feel better quite like germs.
That's right. That's right. 100%. Like, oh, well, your immune system is low. Why don't you expose it to more things so when it does recover, you're extra tough? I'm pretty sure that's the Wolverine solution. Um, but I went to The Greatest Showsman. I think is what it's called, The Greatest Showsman.
Hmm.
I loved every minute of it. That movie was the bomb schniggity sniggity. It could be better than Spider Man. It may have been the best movie of 2017.
Really?
It is super good. There was not
Okay.
1 minute of it that I thought was bad or unentertaining or boring. It was great. The it's a musical type thing. The musical stuff was really good. The dancing I thought was really good. Um, Apparently, every woman that is into Mary Jane Watson becomes Spider Man. Um, I don't, I don't know. Um, but I was really impressed by the movie. Like we saw the previews, and I'm like, let's go see that. And the wife was like, yeah, we wanted to see that too, so we went and saw it. And wow, it blew me away how good it was. So there you go. There's an honest movie review from a sick man who may have not actually gone to that movie at all. I'm not sure.
I can't remember if I was there, but it was great.
No, I it was very good. I enjoyed it. There's one thing where I was like, no, please don't let this be the thing, and then it wasn't, and I was like, yeah. So see how my non-spoiler spoilers came into play. It's pretty
Yeah,
sweet.
because I still have no idea what's going on in that movie.
So it's the story of Barnum and Bailey and putting the circus together.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I didn't feel like seeing that because I hate circuses.
I am not a big circus guy either, but the story is amazing. Totally worth watching. But I'm wearing my bathrobe, and Tanya found the meat is murder shirt. So you know it's going to be a good show this week, everybody. Speaking of, this is Two Trolls in a Brew, episode 112, Primus. Wow. Travis Primal Troll. Subtitle, Rivals, Spoilers, and Other Things. So we're going to get into it because I'm not feeling great. And I have a stream to stream, which is going to
Right.
be extra tough, but whatever. I took a 5 hour nap. I laid down for an hour around noon, and
Okay.
I got up at 5 o'clock for my hour nap.
Nice.
So it feels good. Feels good, man. I just lost 5 hours of my day. So what do you think? Should we just jump in on troll
So,
cards?
but did you actually like lose 5 hours of your day, or did you gain 5 hours of night?
With the way that I'm feeling, I probably lost 5 hours of day.
Nice.
I'm probably going to go to bed at the same time as I always would.
Right.
So I don't think I gained anything. Uh, Hello, Streaky. Welcome to Two Trolls and a Brew. For the record, we do record live on YouTube. When we put these out, I do tweet out a link, and I do keep an eye on chat. So if you want to be part of the show, feel free to let us know what your questions or whatnot, and we will talk about them. So Travis, let's get into this week's troll card, shall we?
Yes.
I have written down Flood of Recollection, and
Okay.
you have written down Sword Point Diplomacy. We talked about Sword Point Diplomacy either last show or off the air or something. And I remember telling you, Travis, I think this card is really good. And then a couple of days later, I got a message from you, and you're like, "It's even better than you thought."
It's so busted.
So tell me,
Um.
tell me about Swords Point Diplomacy and why everyone should be playing this thing.
Okay, so I was playing like a Rakdos mid-range burn deck, I guess. I don't know exactly how you want to label it, but it's like shock, lightning strike, um, what's that? The unlicensed disintegration,
We're using the leash. There's some sort of
Lee.
red 4-mana. There's a 4-mana burn spell that does 4 damage to a creature or player.
No.
Okay.
But so I was doing all that, and then I had what do you call it? Hazoret. Like I had 2 Hazarets. Combustible Gear Hulk. The Scavenger, the Scrap Heat Scrounger, or Scavenger, the one that can come back from the graveyard.
Okay, doesn't sound like there's a lot of creatures to feed it, but okay.
No, there is. There's like, and then there's. Is this the deck? Is this what I was doing? Sure, that looks right. I used that 4-drop bird. The Bone Picker. I used 4 of those. I used Pia Nalars.
The
Fatal
Bone Picker
Pushes.
seems really strong, actually.
Yeah, Bomat Courier. Like turn 1, you play Bomat Courier, swing in. Turn 2, like you swing in, and if they block, you just like, okay, well, here's a 3/2 for 1. Also, here's another 1-drop. Right. But yeah, then Hazarets and Combustible Gear Hulks, and then the Sword Point Diplomacy, which won me the majority of my games.
Okay,
because
so I first of all, let me jump in here for a second. Remington and I were working on a quick list because Remington wasn't in love with any of the decks that we had built in Standard.
Right.
We're thinking about going to the Game Day Champion, or not, whatever, the Store Championship thing. We ended up not being able to go for other reasons, but we were kicking deck ideas around, and I started thinking, well, is there a burn deck in Standard? And I started filling around, and there's a pretty amazing burn deck in Standard, I think. With the top end being some number of the 4 damage burn spells, some number of Hazarets, and a Rebuke, I think is what it's called. Like it deals damage to them equal to the converted mana cost of their own spell. It's a split card. I don't remember the name of it. Anyway, so like I was looking at a lot of these things, and I'm like, Remington, maybe this deck is red-black, mostly so you can add in Sword Point Diplomacy. He's like, why would you want that card? I'm like, so in my mind, you play it. And every spell that deals more than 4 points or 3 points of damage to them, it behooves them to pay the life themselves.
Yep.
But everything that costs is less than 3 points of damage, they might as well, or is 3 points of damage, they might as well give you. So you have to make the mana or burn the mana yourself.
Yeah.
So that was my logic. How did it actually play for you?
So after, let's see, so the majority of people, they took the cards that would deal 3 damage on their own. Like they took Lightning Strike, and they're just like, well, I might as well not let you hit a creature. So they got rid of it. They got rid of Unlicensed Disintegration. They got rid of Fatal Pushes. Like they got rid of the flying creatures and the ones that made flying. And basically the only cards that I was able to keep were Bomat Couriers, Shock, and lands.
Yeah, that seems really odd to me that they would take your Lightning Strikes. It makes sense for the disintegrations to go. But the Lightning Strikes, I feel like, especially in a burn-esque type deck where you're looking for reach, my decision would be like, well, maybe I want you to spend your mana and burn a creature.
See, that's what I figured too, but like the deck was just going so quick with the couriers, and like, you know, turn 1 courier, turn 2 either a Scrap Heap Scrounger or like shock/push into the bird. It just got off the ground so quick that they didn't want me to have more spot removal.
So the other card that I was thinking about putting in that deck, the only non-burn to the face of sorts, would have been Cut to Ribbons. That would have been my only black source, and I would have been creatureless. Right now, our meta has gone really heavy on the creature kill, like really, really heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea, in theory, that this would be a creatureless deck would really put the pain on their giving them a lot of dead cards in their library, at least game one, and probably even more
Yeah.
game two. Because I just didn't have that many cards they could sideboard out. Seemed really strong in theory in my mind, but again, like I said, we didn't get a chance to play, so I'm not sure. I don't know. Are you going to be able to actually send me a deck list picture to throw in this week's notes, or is it going to be like everything else? We'll mention it and then you'll never remember.
Probably a little bit of both.
All right, sweet.
You know how it is with me.
Sweet. So my troll card this week is Flood of Recollection. This is a spoiler out of Rivals of Ixalan. It's blue for a sorcery. Return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Exile Flood of Recollection. I love these kind of regrowth spells, particularly in the kind of environment we have right now, where recycling a spell is really important, because you'll notice it doesn't recast the spell, which I think would be really sweet. It just lets it go back to your hand. So you can play it again and then put it back in your graveyard. So essentially it gives you many copies of a lot of different cards, depending on what you need at the time, depending on what's in your graveyard. It can also easily be discarded and sit in your graveyard until you're ready to like Gear Hulk it. No,
Right.
Gear Hulk doesn't do sorceries, right? Just instants. But I think this thing's has got a lot of play, mostly because it puts it back in your hand, and then the new spell can go, or the spell that you recycle goes back to the graveyard and then back into the graveyard to be rebought later. I don't know. I was just flipping through these things and I found another card that is usually at my alley, and then I scroll down some more and I'm like, no, this thing is the beat stick. I'm not sure where I use it yet, but these are the kind of spells that I just instantly gravitate towards in Constructed. So much power. So, yeah, I don't have a cool story around it, though. Kind of boo. Let's see. Travis said that he had a whole bunch of stuff because he's played a bunch of Magic. So I'm going to be quiet for a little bit and let my throat recover, and Travis is going to lead the show for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's about how long it takes me to say a bunch of stuff. But no, like, I was playing the burn deck, mid-range burn, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But even though, the majority of people, when they saw me, like whenever I was casting things, they're like, okay, so the Bone Picker and the Hazard are going to be your big spells. And then, like, out of nowhere, I'd get to turn 6 and I just play the Combustible Gear Hulk. And they're like, oh. I'm like, yeah, so do I draw more cards or would you like to take damage? And every single time they took damage, I did 10 points to them. It was like, oh, well, there's a Bone Picker, Hazard, and a 2-drop. You take 10. And you're dead. And they're like, yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, the Bone Picker is pretty misleading on its converted mana cost.
Yeah, because you can play 2 of them on turn 2 if you're lucky. And you're like, yep, it's a 1-drop, that's for sure. And then you reveal it off of the Combustible Gear Hulk, and you're like, okay, take 4, bye. Right. There's a fifth of your life. Then I think the only match that I lost, and it was really stupid because I beat Teamer Energy with this, because every time they played something, I'm just like, remove it. And then eventually, when I just get Pia's down, block with Pia, and then I just keep swinging with the 1/1s. And then, I can overwhelm the board and just, have a bunch of chump blockers. and then I'm swinging in with 3/2s with the scrap heap scroungers or the flyers, and then eventually I play down the combustible gear Hulk, and they can't get through with it with the bristling Hydra because that's the only thing they have left. I ended up beating that. I lost to mono black 1-drops because they went wider than I could faster. And then in the sideboard, they brought in that the 3/5 vehicle that you can pay an energy and give it lifelink.
Right.
Yeah. So they brought that in. Yeah, and I just can't get around that because I can't draw my abrades.
So should your deck be running the Pirate Chasm?
No.
In the sideboard, no?
No, because that hurts me too.
That's fine. Like sometimes you got to be able to Wrath. How about one of the other spells that I was looking at for the burn deck? It's like Chandra's Pyro Helix, I think. It does 2 damage at instant speed to two things. That should stop like the mono black.
Well, see, and the thing with the mono black deck is you have to deal with creatures on your turn because they also have bone pickers.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, so it's like
you can fire off a Pyro Helix on your turn and kill 2 guys.
Right. But at that point, why wouldn't I just use the 2 mana for a shock and a fatal push?
That's 2 cards. So I really like.
It's a 1-for-1 trade.
Sure. So again, I was looking for burn spells in general that I thought were strong in the format, and I think the Pyro Helix is good for 2 reasons. One, 2 damage to the face at instant speed is still fine; it's still worth it. But talking about the kind of things that you're just now describing to me, killing 2 1-drops for 1 mana, especially like a Beaumont Courier, is still pretty popular in the format. That 2/1 haste guy from Red is still pretty popular in the format.
Earthshaker
Kindra.
Yeah.
Even if they do get down a Bone Picker, it's a 3/2. So like there's a 1-for-1 shot. This way you can still keep access to the things like Fatal Push and Shock, but the ability to sometimes get a 2-for-1. So like right now we have a individual who is all in those tokens, right? So it gives an opportunity to really punish the people like that are token players or whatever, especially if they're like, oh, I'm going to play this angel and make a bunch of tokens. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to shoot your angel for 1 and I'm going to shoot another token or whatever. And they're like, oh, boo, all I have left are these shitty 1/1s. I know, I'm a big fan. Let's see, shout out to Chris says. Thanks for being part of the show this week. Appreciate you. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I like throwing things out there that have variables. One of the things that I did not think about that you obviously have found that is still good is the unlicensed disintegration. Kind of does a similar thing where it's a 2-for-1.
Right.
I just like the idea of cramming as many 2-for-1s in my deck as I can get away with.
Yeah, and see with mine, I only put 3 in the deck because I'm only running.
Sounds like 8 artifacts. Oh, plus the Gear Hulk's 10 artifacts.
Yeah, 10 artifacts plus Pia. So 10 to 12 artifacts.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I only put 3 in there, but I mean, it's unlicensed disintegration. Every time it hits.
Right.
Even if it doesn't do 3 damage, it still kills a big threat.
Yeah, it's fair.
But then I played Modern also. So on Thursday we played Standard. That's when we did our our store championship at the one store because, or so all three of them got together and like, okay, how about I do it this day? Like, how about I do it on Thursday? You do it Saturday morning and you do it Saturday afternoon or something. They all communicated with each other and got all three stores to fire with, different people and everything. I don't know if they were allowed to do it on Thursday, but they did it.
Yeah. Well, better to ask forgiveness than permission, right?
Right. Uh, so that was Thursday, and then Friday, our F&M was modern, and I played mill because the only deck that I have seen is a bad matchup for me is Eldrazi and then Greentron. So Eldrazi-tron and Greentron are my only bad matches for mill. Like everything else, you just beat because the format isn't made for it right now because everybody's focusing on those two decks, like to beat them. But mill just bypasses everything except for those two decks.
Yeah, the ability to hit key cards and then exile them.
Yeah.
Speaking of modern real fast, one of our listeners, Brandon, has he sent me a list and a link to Jeff Hoogland's stream of it a couple of weeks ago or a couple of days ago, and I watched it of this Eldritch pack, Saheeli Rai, Fellow Guardian-esque combo that hinges on Lotus Cobras and Renegade Ralliers.
Okay.
I like the idea. I've already got a picture, and I'll throw it up in the show notes. In fact, I could potentially do that now. There we go. Let's lock me in here. So basically, I don't want to get into the whole list. But basically, it's got a bunch of really interesting one-ubs, and then things like Birds of Paradise, Lotus Cobras, Renegade Ralliers, and Voice of Resurgence to either be the fuel that regrows your lands or accelerates your mana, fixes your mana, stuff like that. Eldritch Evolution is obviously one of the key cards to, like, you sacrifice a Voice of Resurgence, and boom, you can go get your Fellow War Guardian, whatever. 4 Saheelis. Obviously, a Saheeli in a list like this is pretty sweet. Avalanche Riders, Thragtusk, Sun Titans. These are all good things to be able to make Saheeli copies of. Renegade Rallier has a lot of play in this kind of deck because so many of your things cost 2 and you sacrifice them. Or, of course, lands to get to massive acceleration. I'm a big fan of Renegade Rallier right now in Modern.
Well, and even still, like if Saheeli's out and no one else is, or like if Saheeli's out and then you can make a copy of Lotus Cobra and then sack it to Eldritch Evolution to get the Feldar Guardian and then combo off there.
Right. One of the really nice things about it is because there's so many sick little combos in it. And apparently also, if you get the Dream Hand, there's a turn 2 win that involves like a Birds of Paradise into a Lotus Cobra, into a fetch land, into a Renegade Rallier, into a Saheeli Raw, into copying Renegade Rallier to make more mana, and then just kind of go to town by tutoring up with Eldritch Evolution, a Fellow War Guardian. So like there's an infinite combo on turn 2 if all the stars align perfectly. But we don't live in Magical Christmas Land.
I do.
So basically, I don't know. This is a list. People know that I've been working on a Kiki Chord-esque build for a while, trying to figure out what I like in Modern. And the more I get there, the more I'm just like, I'm just going to learn to play Burn in Modern. I don't know. There's too many cards and it's too big of a format for my currently not brain tumor, but brain tumor-esque hit brain. So I wanted to hit that. Thank you. Thanks for sending that in. I will take a look at it and potentially proxy it up or whatever. The only things I don't have are Lotus Cobras. I actually really considered reaching out to various suppliers that I have credit with to grab some Lotus Cobras, but I hadn't yet. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what Lotus Cobra is at the upcoming PPTQ. Which I suppose now is as good a time as any to throw an ad out for the double PPTQ weekend. It is. Let me actually not have things be incorrect. It's towards the end of the month here. If you're within the sound of my digital voice, or within a couple hours of Salina, Kansas, I'd highly recommend checking it out. All right. January 27th, we have a PPTQ in Manhattan, Kansas at Goblin Games. And then on the following day, on Sunday, January 28th, we have the follow-up at the arena in Salina. So we try to pair up our PPTQs to make it worth people's time to drive freaking in the middle of nowhere. And that's pretty cool. I'll be there. I'll be playing January 17th, and the 27th, and I'll be judging the 28th, unless it's small, and then I'll play too. So, I don't know. It's pretty cool. Hopefully we'll see a bunch of you guys there. Well, let's get into the meat of the show. Travis, there are a lot of really sexy cards coming out of this spoiler. And I think what we can just do is we'll just alternate back and forth. You'll do one, I'll do one. And then we'll just kind of do a few, and then we'll save some for each week. What do you think? We'll just do like 5 or 6 or something.
Oh, I don't have a screen available, or do I? Let me. I mean, you're gonna go invisible, but I can still talk.
As long as that works, it's fine with me.
Yeah.
So, Travis may be a disembobulated little black screen. I don't know. We'll see.
No, that's what's gonna happen.
Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. As soon as I open this, can I just go with the card that I'm most excited for?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. It is loading.
It is loading?
Yeah.
Is that the name of the card?
No, it's a red card. So far, out of everything that has been spoiled, I have 2 cards that are at the top right now, but the first one that I'm going with is Daring Buccaneer. So it is a human pirate that costs a single red mana, and it's a 2/2. And as an additional cost to cast Daring Buccaneer, reveal a pirate card from your hand or pay 2 generic mana.
Okay. I finally found it and got it to come up on the other screen. I'm having some technical difficulties over here. This seems okay. Like a 2/2 for 1 in red. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's like a slow goblin guide.
Well, but it's also like a fast everything else.
True.
And it has 2 relevant types as humans and pirates.
Yep. Pirate or human is the hidden format, or the hidden tribe in standard right now.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Not the card that I'm most excited about, but I think pretty worthwhile. Have you looked at this card Baffling End yet, Travis?
I don't know.
It's a white and a generic for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, exile target creature and opponent controls with a converted mana cost 3 or less. When Baffling End leaves the battlefield, target opponent creates a 3/3 green dinosaur token with trample.
Okay.
So I imagine enchantments are going to be difficult to get rid of. or they should be. I don't know. But I'm a big fan of these things. You'll notice that one, this doesn't come back. Like the creature doesn't come back if you blink it or something. It's still gone.
Right.
So you're basically killing their thing, and then if they're able to get rid of Baffling End, they get a dinosaur.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of potential for stuff like this where you can take advantage of situations. I don't know. This card I think has got a lot of interesting play. Unfortunately, it is a uncommon and not a common. I was kind of hoping it was a common when I first read it. To be able to put it into I'm trying to think of the words popper decks. Not that I'm a huge popper player, but it feels like a pretty interesting card to put in that environment. As also, I was a little disappointed when it said creature and opponent controls because I was very excited with the idea of being able to like hide away like some of my own junky creatures.
Yeah.
And then do something weird where I could like bounce these things and upgrade my dinosaur. You know, like blink sacrifice a 1/1 token to upgrade it into a potential 3/3. Blink this thing and just like go to town. But I don't know. I still think this is a really good card, particularly in white. This could be white's fatal push.
True.
What do you want to talk about next, good buddy?
My other favorite card revealed so far is Dead Man's Chest.
Is that also a red card?
Nope, it is black.
It is black. All right, I'm trying to find it here.
Okay.
Got it.
So it is a generic in black for an enchantment aura. You enchant a creature an opponent controls, and when the enchanted creature dies, exile cards equal to its power from the top of its owner's library. You can cast non-land cards from among them as long as they're exiled, and can spend mana of any color to cast them. Like
Yeah.
that is so much better than Gaunty.
This is actually a really good spell. I don't know if it's better than Gaunty because the creature does still have to die. So you have to enchant the creature, then you have to kill it. But I think it does have a lot of really interesting potential. Yeah, it's a good spell. We'll have to see how it actually ends up playing out. I think that you're going to get a lot of people are like play this on like a 2/2 or a 2/1 or something, or a buzzard, whatever it is, and then fatal push it.
Right.
Which I think will be totally acceptable. The card that I almost made my troll card this week, Sky Marcher as Aspirant. So I really like Savannah Alliance, right?
Yes.
Like a 2/1 for 1 is really, I think, very strong in a lot of formats. This one is no different. It is a 2/1 for 1 vampire soldier. But as power creep continues, this one has Ascend, which I would like to talk about in general, because I think it's a really interesting format or a really interesting ability. But basically what Ascend does is it gives you, if you meet the certain criteria, you get what they call City's Blessing. If you have City's Blessing, Sky Marcher Aspirant gains Flying. So to talk to you just a little bit about Ascend, I'm going to go ahead and read the power. If you control 10 or more permanents, you get the City's Blessing for the rest of the game. So basically it's a flag that once triggered, just anytime, it's like an if statement. If this happens, you get this flag for the rest of the game, and then certain cards have awesome new powers for the remainder of the game. I really like this idea. I think there's a lot of really cool spells and potential they can do with this Ascend power. but you're going to have a critical mass of ascension cards
Yeah.
to make sure that it all works. And I think something like this Scar Marcher aspirant, where a 2/1 is usually not that exciting in a board stall, kind of late game. However, if you have 10 permanents out there, you slam this guy, and now a 2/1 flyer for one, whole different world. I don't know. What do you think?
No, dude, I'm with you. I think it's ridiculously Ascend. Now, Ascend can carry into other formats, right?
You would think there's no reason that they couldn't put more Ascend cards into play. Whether or not they will, who knows? It's the same thing
Right.
with the, like the contraption mechanic. I think contraption can go in more formats, but whether or not they actually will, who knows?
I hope that they do because I love contraptions.
I think it's got a lot of really interesting potential. Do you have another one you want to do, or should I just keep going on for a second?
Yes, go down to green.
Go down to green.
I
All
already
right.
forgot what it's called,
Is it Enter the
but
Unknown?
no, it's the card right next to that shiny 3-drop. The sorcery.
The sorcery.
Down.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. Okay.
Thunderhead Migration.
Yeah, that thing.
All right, let's look at
So
that.
it's a colorless and a green. And when you cast it, reveal a dinosaur, pay one more, and you go get a basic land, put it into play tapped.
Oh, shut the front door.
Yep.
Oh, so good.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have rampant growth again.
Yay, dinosaur growth. That's really good. This is the kind of card that I felt like I was missing. Once we lost the waste card. I can't think what it's called now. Into the waste, something.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's really, really good. Thanks for letting me know that that's. I hadn't read through the entire spoilers, just kind of bits and pieces. Yeah, Dino Waste or Dino Ramp.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Actually, before we get into that, I want to talk about my green spell. I think is really cool. Enter the Unknown. Target creature you control explores for a green mana, and then you may pay an additional land this turn. This is the other spell that I was looking to try to replace that feeling with. I was super excited because Exploration I think is a good card. 1 mana cheaper, and potentially giving your creature +1/+1 counter forever. Like
Yeah.
this, it's got like a ton of value to it. I think this will be a very strong card for the upcoming standard. I mean, it's turn 3. Like you have another land, you have 2 lands in your hand. You enter the Unknown on your Walking Ballista. You hit another +1/+1 counter, and you drop 2 lands that turn.
Yeah.
Or better yet, you have your 1/1 snake, or sorry, your 1/1 Walking Ballista on turn 2, or your snake on turn 2. You Walking Ballista, making it a 2/2. You play your land. You enter the Unknown on your Walking Ballista, making it a 4/4. You play another land, and you
Mm-hmm.
potentially drop another Enter the Unknown. Like there's so much power with this Enter the Unknown. It's ridiculous. So that's my green spoiler that I think is the best. Why don't we each do one more and then we'll wrap it up? Do you have another one in mind?
Um.
I mean, I want to talk
Honestly,
about all of the primals together.
well, And see, I was kind of going the same way, except with all the lords.
Okay.
Yeah, you were going big. I was going small.
I mean, I have one more exciting card that I wanted to talk about before we got into those things. So I guess we can just do that. War Sale Marauder. I think this is another one of those cards that kind of appeals to me. Good in the early game, good in the late game.
Yeah.
So it's a rare, which should tell you some things when I like focus on a rare. But it's a blue and a generic for a human pirate 2/1 flyer. But when it attacks, target creature loses all ability and base power and toughness becomes 0/1 until end of turn. So, one, taking away something's abilities for a flyer essentially basically is the same thing as saying target creature can't block.
Right.
So that's good. Two, base power and toughness becoming 0/1 is amazing because then all of a sudden your shocks are super live. Like imagine you play this guy, you attack, and they're like torrential Gearhulk or whatever suddenly becomes a 0/1 that you just shock into oblivion.
Yeah.
Or their Scarab God suddenly becomes a 0/1 that you shock into oblivion. Because that's a trigger, right? So if he dies as a 0/1 with no abilities, that's just gone. I think, right?
I would think so, unless it interacts with the graveyard too.
Well, I'm pretty sure that that's a go to the graveyard-esque trigger. I'd have to look it up. Judges out there, don't shoot me. I just was kind of thinking about it right then, so I'll get nasty judge letters. But I'm pretty sure that was the way Scarab God works. If he has to be the Scarab God when he goes to the graveyard for him to come back, because if you clone him and the clone the Scarab God and then the clone of Scarab God dies, the clone still comes back to your hand.
Yeah.
Because it was the Scarab God when it went to the graveyard. So anyway, I think this guy's got a lot of really interesting potential. Also, has the two most important types in the new standard, human and pirate.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I've been excited to build a pirate deck in standard. I've been trying super hard. Travis knows this. You guys know this. Like, I just keep throwing good pirates together and not getting anywhere. And this guy is the exact right kind of card to put into the pirate deck. Remington, I think, also kind of went with a no-brainer that made me go, oh, yeah, of course, that should be in there. The Shapeshifter from Kaladesh, the Eldrazi, or the Mimic. I forget what's the name of it, but it gives everything a +1/+1 counter.
Okay.
So, like, it could be a pirate or a human, and depending on how your deck is set up, and making all these things come into play with an additional 1/1 counter would be great. So, excuse me. I don't know. I'm very excited. I think there's a lot of really interesting things. All right, so what are the lords? What's the white lord, Travis? Is it this Paladin of Atonement?
No. Go to the multicolors.
Oh, are they multicolored lords?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's see.
So, let's see here. I think that big one is a pirate lord for attacking. I can't see with
Fire Fleet Neckbreaker.
Yeah, the one where
all attacking pirates get +0 or +2/+0.
Yeah. So there's that.
Okay. Pseudo Lord. I'll give you that.
I'm not sure if that's like the actual Lord or not. Because the whole set's not revealed, but
there's a 2/2 vampire for 2 that says other vampires get +2 or +1/+1. Legion Lieutenant.
Yeah.
That's a sexy little card there.
Right. And then you have the Merfolk that does the same thing.
I have to say this Merfolk is insane, but yeah. Yep.
So I'm wondering if that
mythic.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if the that pirate one isn't necessarily a as much as it is just an attacking boost. But
Maybe.
but yeah, you're right. That Merfolk right there, that 3-drop is insane.
Yeah, that 3-drop's pretty great. Um, yeah, I don't know. Do you think we're gonna get one of these baby lords for each of the types?
I hope so.
Like,
I'd be
what are the
I'd
big
be
types?
irritated if it didn't.
What are the big types? Like, we have pirates, merfolk,
Pirate
vampires,
and dinosaur.
and dinosaur. I can't imagine we're gonna get a 2-mana dinosaur lord. Can you?
No, but it'd still be fun.
That'd be really good. Be really good. Um. All right, that's sexy. You know what? Before I actually get into the primals, there. I saw this one just a little bit ago. Oh, they don't have the picture. The picture's up on Twitter. I might have to look and see if I can find it later. But there's a 4/4 artifact creature, Golden Guardian for 4 mana with Defender. Pay 2. It fights another creature you control. When it dies, you flip it over. It flips over into add a land. Adds 2 mana of any one color to your mana pool, and or 4 mana, tap it, make a 4/4 colorless golem. That thing is insane. Insane. I'm in love.
Yeah.
Also, new Evolving Worlds art and looks sweet. That's awesome. Sorry, I didn't mean to get sidetracked at the shiny thing.
You're
I
good.
like Evolving Wilds. All right, so I'm gonna start clicking all the primal avatars that we've seen. We looked at the black one previously, so we really only have like 2 new ones, right? The red one and the white one.
Yeah.
And you had a complaint. Man, I hope there's a blue one. I really do hope there's a blue one. Like Flash, flying, eat a bitch. All right, so you had some comments on the primals. What were you thinking?
I don't remember. Remind me.
I prompted you on a question so I could blow my nose.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember.
I don't remember my complaint, but I remember your complaint.
All right, well, hit my complaint then.
Your complaint was that the 12/12 kind of got screwed because luckily you said while costing less is great, the rest of the things are better or something like that.
So, yes, I did say something along those lines. Like, I was super stoked for the power of the green one. Often casting significantly less is one of the coolest powers you can get in Magic. And having the ability to be like, oh yeah, also you have trample is pretty good, right? So like a 12/12 trample creature seems ridiculous, especially with the potential power of 2 mana and the potential ability to pretty easily in a dinosaur deck give it haste.
Mm-hmm.
Those things all seem pretty good until you look at like the white one. The white one is a flying, double striking, vigilance, trample, indestructible, bad Mamma Jamma for 8 mana, which we've already now seen in the dinosaur deck that we have rampant growth. We already have 2 different things that make dinosaurs cost less if you want to play them. So getting to 8 mana in the dinosaur deck does not seem that hard.
Especially now with the rampant growth.
Exactly. That's what I was like. There's so many ways to get to 8 mana, I think, super quick. I don't know. The white one just seems incredibly strong to me. The red one,
especially with that the green white big dude from the last set that said all your things attack with their butt.
That's right. All your things attack with the butt.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
just think,
an
that's
8/8
16
flying.
damage.
Right. An 8/8 Frample, indestructible, double striking. Oh, yes, it does that trample. I don't know. This thing is just insane. It's got every keyword under the sun that could possibly need.
Right, and then some they don't.
This red one, though, I think is also very, very cool. When he attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. Then you may cast any number of non-land cards exiled this way without paying their mana cost. So the red one can cast the green one if they have it in their, if you have it in your deck or they have it in their deck, whatever. Like 2 free spells for attacking with this thing.
Yep.
I'm just like,
Just
what?
attacking. You don't even have to connect. Just attack.
Right.
Like so he costs what, 6?
Yeah.
Drop him on 4, I think, because maybe even sooner because of the lords that make dinosaurs cost less.
Right. Well, and
so like if you play the white one on turn 1 and you play the red one on turn 2, and then turn 3 you play the ramp spell or whatever, then turn 4 you can play this, give it haste, swing for 6, and play 2 more big things.
Doesn't the red one, the red dinosaur helper, doesn't it
Give them
haste?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, potentially dropping this thing on turn 4 and attacking seems okay. Like, I'm no expert. Seems okay. Seems okay. So, like, comparing it to the green one, like, the green one it has drastically dropped, in my opinion, now.
Right, but still,
I was so high on it, and now it's just like, oh.
But even still, the big, you get big and dumb, and you get them quick, and then you're just kind of like, okay, answer me. All right, you got a bristling hydra while swinging for 12.
Right. They're like, walk the plank.
Right.
Walk the plank.
Then they'd have to splash black.
I guess. I don't know. So yeah, that was kind of my complaint. Like, I was super high on it all the way until I started seeing the other spoilers, and I was just like, oh, come on. Really? That's gross. I hope there's a blue one, and I hope it's all equally disgusting.
Yeah.
I hope they just make people cry. I want it to be a merfolk dinosaur legend thingy. They're just like, what? It costs 2 mana. You put it in your merfolk deck. It's like an 11/11, but it can only attack if you sacrificed a merfolk. But like, you can search their library and bribery their stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Sweet. Do you have anything else you'd like to add before I wrap the show up, Travis? My throat's starting to explode.
No, I think we covered everything.
Sweet. As always, you can check out this episode and most past episodes at samusgrobo.com or at the YouTube channel, youtube.com/samusgrobo. That's where we record every week. If you'd like to see my pretty face or Travis's pretty face or facial expressions or sometimes the visual comedy that is me in my bathrobe and no underpants, you can check us out there. You can send us a email, the number 2 trollsbrew@gmail.com. I want to thank Brandon once again for sending in that deck list. And if you have a deck list you'd like to share with everybody, please send it there. We'll poke holes in it all day long. I'm going to try to get my voice back and then jump back over to twitch.tv/SamusGarobo. I've had a couple of you jump in and hit the subscribe button with your Twitch Prime. That is a really awesome way to help support the show. I really do appreciate it. And of course, if you're into Magic the Gathering, you might like Dungeons & Dragons Online or Pathfinder Adventures or one of the other games that I stream Monday through Friday. Also, you can follow Travis Turtle Power 319 on Twitter, and you can follow me at Samus Garobo on Twitter. I'm gonna give you like a bit of a a cue for your sound off this week, Travis, if that's okay.
Okay.
How is the Facebooklessness going? And why did you do that?
Um, so actually being away from it and like deleting everything entirely, seems kind of like lifting, I guess. Like just because having all of that crap all the time, like waking up, oh cool, I have 28 messages. And then I'm just kind of like sitting there for like 20 minutes going through everything and responding to people and all this other BS or whatever. It just kind of got like, I don't want to say overwhelming, but I don't know. It just kind of got to be irritating.
So
So
quick interjection. What Travis did is, I believe it was a New Year's resolution. Is that correct?
yeah,
To
to be
break
off of Facebook for a year.
to be off of Facebook for a year. So he went through and he deleted everything, and then deleted Facebook as well as Messenger. Correct? Because you didn't have any
Yes,
friends left at that point.
right. Yeah, I deleted everybody off of my friends list. I removed myself from all of the groups that I was following and unliked all the pages that I had liked. Because even after you deactivate Facebook, if you don't tell them that you don't want notifications sent to your email, it will still send notifications to your email. I've shut off Facebook before, and even when it's shut off, you still get notifications. Because,
Sure.
like, when I turned it back on, there's like, oh, you have 96 things. I'm like, oh, but I deactivated you. So I just deleted everything. Well, I kept all my pictures and stuff on there because if I go back on there, then they'll still be there.
Right.
But everything else I've deleted. And then I gave people a 2-day notice. I was like, if you want my phone number, let me know. Um, you can you can find me on Twitter or
So I think, and the reason I brought it up is because of that right there. I want to say that I've had other people go Facebook lists for various periods of time, depending on their mood or whatever. But most of them, when they do that, they go to social media dark. And you
right.
went
Well,
social media moved to Twitter.
yeah. Well, and like I've noticed that even on Twitter, I check it, I'm on there for 5 minutes, and then I'm done. So I put my phone back down and I go back to doing other things. Um, my Instagram, like I don't even check that. I don't really take pictures that much. So I have no reason to open that up unless I get a message on there. And then same with Twitter, like I'll check it 2, 3 times a day and 15 minutes total. Whereas Facebook, I'd check it and then so I'd get on there, I'd do the notifications, I'd check the screen, just looking at everything that my friends have done. And then by the time I'm done looking at everything, you're like, oh, 5 more notifications. So I just, go through and look at the notifications and then I look at the time and I've been sitting here for 30, 45 minutes not doing a damn thing with my life. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to get rid of that, focus on other things.
Yeah, so I mentioned that I had a bunch of Christmases this last weekend that I
Mm-hmm.
went to, even though I was sick. And we were sitting there playing Cards Against Humanity. And several of my friends, um, they continuously were getting Snapchat things, like
Yeah.
nonstop. And then what would happen is they would stop the Cards Against Humanity. Everyone would have to like wave hello to whoever's Snapchatting them. And then we would it would interrupt everything for like 2 or 3 minutes, and it was
Yep.
nonstop. And I was just like, oh man, I am not on board with some of this. But also, again, I was not
Well,
feeling well, and I wanted to be distracted and not wallow in my. Bleh.
right. And like I was playing against someone the other day and I realized that I used to do this too, But when I'm playing Magic and it's not actually competitive, just check my phone while they're taking their turn. And I don't realize that, looking away from the game that often would irritate my opponents.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it. Whenever my phone goes off or something, like I keep my phone in my pocket or on Friday Night Magic's on the table because that's the countdown clock. But
Right.
if my phone goes off during casual Magic, I pick my phone up and I set it on the table. And the only reason I check it is if it's a text message from like a family member.
But
I don't take it off of the screen lock thing unless it shows me that it's an emergency that I need to look at.
yeah. And I think ever since I've been trying to keep away from the phone while I'm playing and everything, but even the only time that I actually, because I've started like just putting my phone away about a couple months ago when I was playing Magic or when I was playing Dragon Ball, just put it away, keep it out of the game. And then the only time I ever had it out was when I was using it as a life counter. Like I was using one of the apps for a life counter. Other than that, like I haven't touched my phone, during a game in like 2 months.
Yeah, I mean it's a good tool, but I think that especially for me, I get paranoid. Like if I see someone get repeated text messages like I'm just like, who's sending you text message? Especially when they don't like set it on the table so I can see what's going on. Like I don't mind if you get a text message, but I want to make sure that it's not involving my game, particularly like at a Friday Magic or a Saturday event or whatever. Because we're a small shop where we don't run a lot of things at a competitive level all the time, so people can have their phones. It's fine, but I'm a paranoid son of a beach. That's why I put mine out there for everyone to look at.
Well, see, my thing is, I don't really care what other people are doing. It's just if you're doing something with me, pay attention to me. And I think that's more because I'm greedy than anything.
That sounds all right. I want to make sure that the illusion of potential impropriety is gone. Also, as somebody who has been cheated on numerous times by extra cards being drawn and stuff like that, the temptation for shady characters to do shady things while you're distracted, I think, has increased. I've complained many times about how I play certain people, and it seems like no matter, like, and I try to keep an eye on them and the number of cards in hand and stuff like that, but it seems like they play 2 or 3 spells a turn, and they always have a grip full of cards. And I play 1 spell a turn, and it's like I have no cards ever.
Right. Well, somebody actually called me out one time because, I kept having cards in my hand. And I looked at him, I was like, okay, yeah, I keep having cards in my hand because I have Ob Nixilis, which draws me cards and hurts me. I also have, and I showed him all the cards that I was using to draw cards. I was like, that's why my life is at 10, is because I'm hurting myself to draw cards, but at the same time, I'm playing a discard deck, so you don't have anything either.
Right.
So it's like, it's all card advantage for me and disadvantage for you.
And again, I recognize that. And when situations like that happen, I recognize those. My things, it's like, sweet, you played 2 creatures, I played a Wrath, and then I play a creature every turn, and you play 3 creatures every turn, and somehow you still have 6 cards in hand.
Yeah.
And I have 2. It's when I start to notice things like that, I start wondering, like, did I look at my phone? Did I answer a judge question? Did I do something that created an opportunity for someone to be like, well, you know what? If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Right.
I don't know, that was it. That was your opportunity to troll on, son.
Oh, troll on everybody.
Troll on everybody. Toodles.
July.